Welcome to This Week in Auburn Sports. I'm Plainsman Sports Editor Justin Ferguson. That is Plainsman Sports Reporter Eric Wallace. Auburn football continuing their spring practices, getting into the second full week of practice. And you were at a couple of them this week. Just kind of what's going on with the football team?
Well, their practices are definitely starting to pick up the speed and intensity. They're definitely trying to pick up Gus Malzahn's patented pace on offense and
Gotta go faster.
defense. Oh yeah, always. They're talking about going 10 times faster somehow. But
That's possible.
There's a lot of competition in the spring. Trey Mason obviously declared for the NFL draft, so that's a pretty big hole. There's a lot of carries that are up in the air. And, guys like Cameron Artis-Payne, Corey Grant, Rock Thomas, even Peyton Barber are out there competing, trying to get a share of those carries and get some time in the offense.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if Auburn decides to go with a running back committee like they did at the beginning of last year. Trey Mason, it was that Arkansas game where he really got the bulk of the carries. So Auburn could start the season like that because Corey Grant, speed. Although he said he's working on showing people he can run between the tackles, Corey Grant's got the speed. Cameron Artis-Payne's got the power, but he's shown some moves. I remember that Missouri game, that touchdown run he had, where it was just a little fake and just completely freezes a Missouri defender. And then you got these new guys. Peyton Barber's really impressed a lot of coaches and teammates, and you were hearing about that when he was redshirted last year. He's such a great scout team player.
Yeah, the group as a whole just really complements each other well. I mean, just Cameron Artis-Payne's power, the speed of Corey Grant. It's just, by committee, it might work really well with the team.
And then you got to add in, you got to add in Nick Marshall, because he's probably the fastest quarterback in the country coming back, and bring another element of the offense. Got a lot of position changes moving around on defense. Big story this week was Chris Frost moving to outside linebacker, that will linebacker position, and Casanova McKenzie moving to middle linebacker. Really going to complement their skills well. Right. Chris better in coverage that we saw. I mean, you remember him running down Johnny Manziel on the third down before D Ford's big set that kind of put him on the map. A lot of guys moving around in the secondary, offensive line. So position battles aren't really going to be solved this spring. Some of them might. I know.
Malzahn definitely said that he wants it to be like a competition-friendly spring practice. Like they're going to let them go at it with different position groups. A lot of guys getting time with the first team, that may not have last year. So it'll be pretty interesting.
And Auburn opens it'll be their first scrimmage of spring. It'll be in Jordan-Hare Stadium this Saturday. So we'll probably start seeing some separation after that. So we got a couple of stories in this week's Plainsman about spring practice and what's kind of going on with the offense. Also in the Plainsman this week, Keegan Thompson, kind of getting our centerpiece story. Phenomenal freshman pitcher.
Stud.
He just near the top in every pitching category in the SEC. And just kind of his story about how he had an opportunity to go pro right out of high school in Coleman, and he decided to come to Auburn. So Auburn's got him for the next 3 years. And what another thing most people don't realize is when he's not pitching, he's out there playing first base.
That's right.
So very versatile player. You're gonna want to check that out as the team starts Thursday night, nationally televised game against Missouri. Big series. The SEC schedule about to pick up. Auburn's ranked now.
They're fresh off a win. They took 2 out of 3 from Tennessee. Tennessee only had 2 losses on the season before that. It was a really impressive series win on the road.
And also impressing national rankings and catching their stride heading into this conference schedule is softball. Auburn softball is about to hit the road, take on Florida, Alabama, Georgia. Those are some really tough teams. And Clint Myers has the team out in his first season, best start in program history.
They're absolutely mashing the ball.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're pitching extremely well. And but it'll be the really tough test. Now, can they do it against some of the best programs in the country? Women's basketball keeps going on in the NIT. They play Thursday night at Mississippi State, a team Auburn beat twice this year, rather. Bruce Pearl continuing his media frenzy. I think he said he would take any media request possible. He's everywhere. If you haven't seen Bruce Pearl talk about Auburn basketball on some national
Mike
media,
and Mike.
you're probably not paying
Auburn
attention.
helmet on, actually, yeah.
And a baseball jersey, yeah. That was so he's going out since he has the show calls going on, he can't recruit in a traditional sense. So Tony Jones.
Yeah, he's this longtime assistant at Tennessee. He's just He's a really excellent recruiter. A lot of his years at Tennessee, he was bringing in top talent. Tobias Harris was a 5-star recruit, ended up being a first-round pick in the NBA draft. Scotty Hobson, he brought in a lot of talent during his time at Tennessee.
And he's going to try to bring that into Auburn. And this week in the paper, Eric has a good story on Tony Jones. You got to talk to him a little bit during the frenzy that was the Pearls opening press conference. But all that going on with Auburn sports, and it really prompted a really great discussion this week among the staff. And you want to check out our editorial this week with the Plainsman on Jay Jacobs and the turnaround Auburn athletics has made.
It's been a whirlwind 2 years. I mean,
yeah,
the state of the program from 2012 to 2014, it's
completely changed.
Yeah.
So you're going to check that out, and then check out ThePlainsman.com. Follow us on Twitter at the AU Plainsman all weekend long for any sports coverage. Everything's going on right now, so want to keep up with that. And until then, we'll see you next week.